Thank you, Monsignor Pham, for your warm welcome, your kind welcome, and thanks to all of you for your warm welcome. Not only of me, boy, do I feel at home, and I appreciate that, but really for your warm and sincere welcome to all of our pilgrims who have been coming throughout the day and will continue to come. Welcome to the pilgrims who are here right now. I'm so glad that you came. I'm seeing some familiar faces from our years past, from the pilgrimages of past. You know, there are a good number of people who are making these pilgrimages going every day, or just about every day, to the different churches that are designated. And then there are people who are living in certain neighborhoods, so that one of the, like here in Northwest Queens, if you might find people, oh, this is one I can get to, and they'll come to the ones that are local. There's just so much devotion, so much faith. People are really longing to be close to Jesus Christ, and that's such an inspiration to see so many people who long to be close to Jesus Christ. We've been doing this now for a couple of years, and this is my second time for the pilgrimage. I've been here a number of times, and again, I thank you for that, but second time you have hosted this pilgrimage. We've been having this pilgrimage for 3 years. We call it a pilgrimage of Lent, because basically what we're doing is what Lent is modeled on: the pilgrimage of Jesus, the journey of Jesus into the desert, and the journey of the Jewish people through the desert for 40 years, from slaves in Egypt through the Red Sea and to the Promised Land. That pilgrimage was an important moment. It wasn't just, okay, we got to wait these 40 years and then everything's going to be okay. The pilgrimage itself, their walking in the desert, was itself a time of grace. Because while they were walking through the desert, it wasn't an easy journey, but that's how they came to know God. God gave them insights into his heart and mind. God revealed what he had in store for them, what he was looking for from them. Keep in mind, not only was it a pagan world, a polytheistic world, but even in the Jewish understanding at first, their first thought was, well, God's the best of all the other ones out there. No, they came to see God as the one true God who loved them immensely and asked for their hearts and asked them to look out for one another. These were extraordinary gifts back in that time. And so our pilgrimage is based on that same mindset, that as we walk through this pilgrimage of life, we might come to know God better, hear what God is teaching us, how he wants us to hear how much he loves us, to see ourselves as being loved by God, and hear that call to look out for one another. This year, the Brooklyn Queens pilgrimage takes place within the larger Jubilee of Hope. Pope Francis has asked us to see ourselves as pilgrims of hope during this year. And boy, do we ever pray for him, right? We're praying for him as he battles his illness. Have you ever made a pilgrimage? Pilgrimages are tough. Let me tell you something. They're tough. They involve a lot of sacrifice. But they're also extremely rewarding. You have to make the sacrifice of time. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to sit on the beach for this time off. I'm going to do this. Travel here. It involves a little bit of discomfort. Sometimes, like I said, you're not necessarily on a pilgrimage going first class all the way. You're making do. You're losing your creature comforts, the things you're used to at home. The coffee the way you like it. You're eating the food that's put before you. Pilgrimages can be tough because sometimes you have to face the realities of weather. And sometimes you have to walk in tough circumstances, rocky roads, uphill. And then, of course, there are the other pilgrims, right? Who complains? Who's always late for the bus? Who ventures out on their own? Who just yaks. But they're incredibly rewarding. We make sacrifices along the way for a greater good, to encounter Jesus Christ. Life is itself a pilgrimage. And all those things that I said, they're true in life too, aren't they? We have to make sacrifices along the way. Jesus is asked, why don't your disciples fast? Everybody else fasts. We have all these disciplines. We have all these sacrifices that we make on behalf of our religion to show our love for God. Why don't your disciples fast? And Jesus gives them the easy answer. Because I'm with them. They got what they're looking for. God is walking with them. All right, that's my own spin on it, but you get the point. But Jesus does say that there's a value in sacrifice. The sacrifices that Jesus is talking about is that sense of longing. The days will come when the bridegroom is taken from him, and then they will fast. That fasting, that sacrifice, increases the sense of longing within us. That desire to know, to love Jesus Christ, to know and love God, and to be loved by God. And to share the love of Jesus Christ, the love of God, with one another. The sacrifices we make help us to seek after the goal, but look out for one another along the way. Isaiah raises a similar question about fasting, and I can almost hear Pope Francis's voice speaking through these words of Isaiah as he calls us to be pilgrims of hope. Isaiah says, why do we fast and you don't see it? Why do we make these sacrifices and you don't seem to notice? And God says, is this the kind of fast I want? I'll tell you why I don't pay much attention. Because you're not really making sacrifices. You're just taking on these hard disciplines and you're becoming a bunch of grouches. Now, that's the people of Israel a long time ago. That's not us. Isaiah said, here's what God wants. This is what a fast day is all about. A fast day is releasing those bound unjustly, untying the thongs of the yoke, setting free the oppressed, breaking every yoke, sharing your bread with the hungry, sheltering the oppressed and the homeless, clothing the nakedness when you see them, and not turning your back on your own. What we do as pilgrims of hope is we seek to be more attentive to God, certainly, and to one another. That's what Pope Francis has been saying. To let this Jubilee year be an opportunity to pay attention to God and to pay attention to one another. And he says God came to share our burdens, to lift the burdens off our shoulders. He says, you really want to see the fruits of this holy year? Let's lift burdens off of other people's shoulders. Again, God never asks anything of us that God isn't willing to do or hasn't already done. God bless you during this pilgrimage. God bless you during this Lent. Thank you for being pilgrims of hope. Your devotion, your living out the gospel helps me to see better the face of Jesus Christ living here in Brooklyn and Queens.
Hi, I'm Christine Persichetti, anchor of Currents News. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button on this video. And if you want to see more content just like it, subscribe and click on the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, because we are putting your faith in the news.